Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to another installment in playing Ultimate Alliance 3 as intended. As a brief refresher, what that means is we need to play this game based off of, well, the cutscenes that immediately precede any of the combat that takes place. So as we just saw, we have Wolverine, we have Iron Man, we have Scarlet Witch, and we don't have another character readily outlined per that cutscene, but Hawkeye was one of the characters that was in the previous cutscene, so that's how we're going to leave in at this point, mainly because it's one of the higher level members of the team that would persist going into that. And this is where I'm hoping things don't get too far into the weeds, because, well, there is a very serious level discrepancy that's starting to become apparent, and that is made even more evident by the fact that Wolverine and Scarlet Witch are both at level 6 and only have one ability between the two of them, or I guess they each have an ability apiece, is the way that I should phrase that instead. Though, that being said, we should be able to get a decent amount of experience from taking out these Sentinels. Now, I don't always fight these Sentinels. As a matter of fact, most of the time I do not, because they are optional. But because of the additional benefits that we can get of additional levels, which we are definitely going to want, I think that it is indeed worth it. So let's head into this section of the fight and get more of this. And again, we have the same three characters outlined there, though we are going to get Psylocke and Nightcrawler introduced to us here, and I don't know how many more cutscenes they are realistically in, so we'll have to pay that in mind as well. Psylocke is going to be a nice preliminary addition to the team, but I don't think that these two characters make a lot of appearances in other cutscenes throughout, so we'll have to not get too attached to them, per se. Though, again, Psylocke, very, very powerful character, so I'm excited to be able to start using her on the team. Absolutely. Let's see if we can get more damage in on this Sentinel here. I should have rolled away from that, or I thought that I had. Ooh, get away from that. Oh, do they just come in on a timer then? I would like to get through the remainder of this Sentinel before it regenerates, and we were able to do that, but I lost the core. That's not fun. Come on, get away from that. Oh, let me get a synergy off here. Thank you very much. That's what I needed. And that's what I hope to reap a large benefit from here. I didn't see who gained a level there, but we are relatively close to being able to get through the remainder of these guys. And we've got a handful of cores that we can use, but I'm immediately going to use two of them on this Sentinel here, because I really don't want to deal with it with the electrical properties as it has. That was a really good synergy there, and just as I was hoping, Wolverine and Scarlet Witch gaining some much needed level boosts there. And nice additional detonation there, which means that we can use these two cores, which I just flubbed one of those completely. But we can use these two cores to get through these guys in record time. I think we actually gained 2 levels there, though neither of our characters ended up gaining a level. Now we are at a point where we can go ahead and make that adjustment to the team by rotating Hawkeye off and placing, again, I could put Psylocke or Nightcrawler on here, but I place a lot more weight on Psylocke, as she's the better of the characters between the two in terms of what she's able to bring to the table. I think, if I recall correctly, that Wolverine does have some additional appearances in some of these cutscenes, so I'm going to use one of my limited XP resources there, mainly so I can get that Adamantium Assault ability, and we're actually going to level that ability up as well. And then let's go ahead and do something similar for Iron Man. His Unibeam isn't particularly great, neither is his Repulsor array, but the thruster charge could be very, very beneficial. That should be about everything we can do on that, but if we go over to the lab and we look at our Alliance enhancement tree, I'm hoping that we can add some additional elements of the strength side to it, which we definitely can. There's a lot of benefit in having additional strength in our team. So let's go ahead and unlock additional strength-related traits. Piercing, actually not the worst thing to have there. That's a really healthy buff to our strength. There's a buff to additional types of damage that we're doing. And let's go ahead and get that recovery, because that's actually going to be quite beneficial as well. And as the last upgrade, let's get additional damage to our piercing attacks. I hope that this should make a large amount of difference here. And we have Infinity Mode available, which would pull us out of that. So I should probably take on a Infinity Trial, because that's what was outlined here. But it doesn't give us a whole lot of team-oriented benefits outside of the unique rewards that are proffered from that. Oh, I had that thrown away, and you know that I did as well. But that's really quick work of these other guys, and let's go ahead and make our way towards the back and past singing Deadpool there in the kitchen. Let's go here where we can get the Blackbird. Now, before we do that, I did want to point something out, just as kind of a fun tidbit. I don't know if one can actually make any baskets with these. I don't think you can, because I don't think that these are meant to interact with the basketball hoops, but I do find it interesting that one can pick up the basketballs and kind of throw them around. So, an interesting tidbit there, for sure. Now we've got ourselves a cutscene, which we need to keep an eye on, because it may have some bearing on the next character switch that we can do. And it looks like it's basically the same what we've had before. There's Psylocke and Nightcrawler there.
Is it taco night again?
And Wolverine was present. Honestly, there wasn't a whole lot to go off of, but it's assumed based off of that cutscene that the characters that have been present in the cutscenes here from the X-Mansion are the same as before. And you'll see there that we have, yep, Iron Man present. There's Nightcrawler there. And we're going to get a really good look at this arrangement as we get a top-down. Yes, Scarlet Witch is still here as well. So we're going to get a top-down view from the Infinity Sentinel here in about 2 seconds once the upgrade has finished. Or at least I recall that that's what happens. Yep, there we go. And yes, all of the characters that we have looked at up until this point are still present. So let's slug on into this fight with the Infinity Sentinel. And I appreciate that Cyclops and Colossus are still present to help us out with this as well. We're actually doing a lot of damage to the stagger gauge here, and my attack button on my controller is sticking a bit, which is not good. Ooh, now let's get this. And let's get these extreme attacks out of the way. Keep Wolverine targeted in on the Infinity Sentinel. I thought we had another core to work with, but apparently we did not. No, we do. And it's right here. Ooh, get out of that. There we go. Now we need to grab Scarlet Witch. Don't just... Wanda, that was not a great thing for you to do. Okay, we got away from those missile attacks there. And everyone getting a little bit closer. Ooh, we got away from that final detonating blast just in the nick of time. Let's go ahead and burn through the remainder of the Infinity Sentinel here, and we got through it in 2 cycles, which is actually really quite good. And we'll want to keep an eye on this cutscene, which again should be basically the same as what we had before. Yeah, you can see those 5, only 3 of which are playable at this exact moment. And here we have those Sentinels being torn to pieces by, you guessed it, Magneto. Which Magneto is the only character in here that becomes playable at any point, but certainly not at this juncture. Alright. Here comes a point of conflict after yet another cutscene.
The same race who designed these monstrosities to hunt us. Pathetic.
This is about far more than us versus them, Eric. We need to put our differences aside and work together for once.
I mean, Cyclops is definitely talking some sense here, that's for sure. But our cutscene isn't really giving us anything to go off of.
As expected, you vastly underestimated its power.
And here comes Colossus.
Release him at once.
Yeah, maybe when you're made of metal, don't run next to the guy that can actually control it. And good thing those 2 are durable.
I did not come here for a fight, only to claim the power that is rightfully mine.
Okay, so here's an interesting point of this run that I know just based off of how it's built. You are not intended to win this fight. You can, but it is not the intent of the fight for it to be one that you can supersede. So what I'm going to do is intentionally let Scarlet Witch faint, because she is the lowest leveled member of the team. And now we have the entire squad being blasted into the mansion, so we can progress through the next section.
As all that they hold dear crumbles to the ground around them.
You got it, boss. This performance is gonna bring the house down.
Alright, Juggernaut.
Nothing that can stop me. That's right, you better run.
Come on. Let me get over to Iron Man. Get a switch here. And we got perfect height on that. I don't generally advise flying because it wastes some of your energy points, but we should gain that back here in a brief moment. Now, I might pause this cutscene just so we can see what goes on in the background there. So we still have Psylocke and Wolverine and Nightcrawler, but we have no appearance from Scarlet Witch at this point, nor do we have Iron Man represented. So we are going to rotate Scarlet Witch out of the team demographic and put Nightcrawler in that rotation before we make our way over there. Actually, we might gain access to Deadpool here as well, because he's in this cutscene. So I may as well make that addition to the team and rotate out the two members that were not present in the cutscene before. Though Deadpool, again, not a character that's present a lot of the time in this section of the game. Alright, Deadpool there pitching a fit just a little bit. And let's go ahead and interact with the next waypoint so we can make those adjustments. So let's rotate. Yeah, we've unlocked Infinity Trials, which we might have to access or look at the very least. But again, not really something that's going to serve us any benefit here. So let's go ahead and get that hero selection out of the way. We'll want to rotate Iron Man off of the cast and add Deadpool. And then we'll want to rotate Scarlet Witch off the cast and add Nightcrawler. Not bad, with Wolverine being the lowest level member of the team at this point. But now I'm back into some of my elements as a speedrunner, or someone who has speedrun experience with this game, in having Nightcrawler available for some quick teleportation movement from place to place. Get away from the strikes here from... Ooh, that was not particularly good, where we all got taken out by those electrical canister detonations. There we go. Alright, he's just gonna bounce back and forth across the room. Come on. There we go. Oh, I was gonna say, don't tell me that that didn't actually take them out. And a lot of really good damage onto Juggernaut in that interaction there. And can we take him out? Yes, we can. A quick little 2-cycle there to get completely through that Juggernaut fight. Actually, quite a good amount of progress there, for sure. Oh, I'm apparently on the other end. No, I'm not. I am right in front of the door where I was meant to be.
Nowhere left to run, punks.
And a fun little unskippable cutscene here. And now we make our way into the danger room for the encounters in there, which is basically the end. Well, no, there's still a lot of the Magneto fight that we have to do, and there's also the fight with the Outriders and Proxima Midnight Corvus Glaive, and we'll talk about those in a moment when we get there. And does Mystique show us the inside of the danger room here? She does not. So we still don't have any clear indication as to if there's adjustments to be made to the team. Alright, let's lay into these holographic opponents. Nice work from Deadpool taking out some of those opponents. And Wolverine gaining some more really good experience here ahead of that. Ooh, don't do that to me. You guys are cheap knockoffs with your claw bracers. just take him out. Nice and easy. There we go.
Initiating level beta.
And another rehash of a fight that we had from a little earlier. Wolverine just about to unlock a third ability, which is pretty good too. Got some Kree soldier holograms coming in. And we're just about there. If we can get through the remainder of these opponents that are hanging out in the outskirts over here. And not Proxima, Psylocke doing some really good work there as well. Just about got our extreme attacks online, which we'll want for later fights that we'll need to do here. Ooh, nice combo there from Psylocke into our Adamantium uppercut there. Ooh, and that was really good. Nice. We can regain some of our energy points there.
The threat level is escalating quite rapidly. You think this is intense? Hey, Mystique, switch it over.
Ooh, nice connection there. And Primal Rage has been unlocked for Wolverine, as I figured it may as a part of this fight. And now I'm really hoping that he is a character that has extended use in the different cutscenes we have.
Initiating level Delta.
And another cutscene, which I don't think that this shows us the inside of the danger room either. And it does not.
Critical error. Power levels beyond maximum
Let's
threshold.
get Deadpool topped off and Psylocke topped off as well, though I'm sure we're getting topped off immediately before this next fight anyway. Ooh, I think this is the fun little area. I'm not going to attack into this, but if you were to, that would take you into the room where Cerebro's at. So, not the world's worst thing at the end of the day. Let's continue up, get over these stairs. Nice little timing on getting that jump over the railing, I quite appreciate. No adjustments to be made going into the final stretch of the fight here. And I always thought that it was kind of funny you couldn't get up those stairs if you got there early enough, but it's not my point. And I guess there's some pictures there on the walls that constitute characters appearing, but that's a little bit of a stretch at the end of the day. And I think it's just Magneto speaking cryptically here. I don't know if we get a top down on the rest of the squad. We do not. So now it's just into the fight with Magneto. Ooh, get out of the way of that. Thank you. Come on, Psylocke. Let's get through this. And a nice little stagger stun there. We rolled right around his dash across the battlefield. There we go. Let's get a stagger stun off there. And we did not quite get the damage in there that we were hoping with that core detonation. I probably should have held off for a brief moment before actually throwing it. But I was quite happy to get the stagger in where we were able to before he fully detonated there. Ooh, get away from that. There we go. Let's get that stagger there. And do more of that to get some additional damage in. I figured that we were probably going to end up having another cycle of this fight. There we go. Psylocke's heavy attack has a lot of disjointed range on it, which I'm very appreciative of. Yeah, we're not going to get through him this time, unfortunately. Come on, get through him. Get that stagger stun. And that's going to be the end of the Magneto fight. Let's run over and top Wolverine off, because he's going to be useful as well. And then we do have a cutscene that, while important because it'll show us characters that are available to us, Rocket and Wolverine there, we don't have the option to switch. And Psylocke there in the background as well. And that's Scarlet Witch also. So if we had the availability to switch here, we would switch to those characters, but we don't get the chance to do so.
You could say that.
We have tracked you across the Great Void.
All
To
right.
retrieve what was stolen from us.
Return the Infinity Stones to us at once, or suffer for all eternity.
I mean...
Yeah, right.
oh, there's Deadpool as well as Iron Man in the background there, too.
He's gonna use them to rip the universe to shreds. And since we live in the universe, well...
Good point in this argument here. Did he detonate a grenade behind him just for a photo op? That is a very Deadpool thing to do.
Thanos shall have the stones, even if we must pry them from your dead hands.
Heh! I forgot that that was a point in that cutscene.
On second thought, perhaps an alliance is called for after all.
Yeah, it only took that to sway your opinion there, Magneto.
Slaughter them, Outriders!
Alright. Initially, we've got some ruffians to layer into. And we should be able to do this with relative ease. There goes one Outrider. Here comes the second, or there goes the second, rather. Alright. There goes that one. Ooh, that was a good detonation there. If only I didn't fall directly into that health refresh. We could have done some real good. Wolverine gaining more levels, which is definitely what we wanted to see out of him. Come on, get this puny Outrider out of the way. There we go. Another thing that's important to note is Hulk hasn't really appeared in any of these, and I'm only thinking about that because, you know, puny as an operative word coming in there. Okay, that was a wasted attempt at a synergy, but that one was not, which was actually quite good. Nice little synergy there from Deadpool and Wolverine, for sure. And then we'll finish that off and run over here and refresh real quickly before we get into the Corvus fight. That being said, this is not a fight that is easy to do even under the best of circumstances, and a new game playthrough is not one of those. Possibly a video to come on that later on in the future, but we will see if that ends up being the case. Anyway, we do have a strategy here, and the strategy is throw the fight, especially because we do not get healed up here. And that was my first ever indication as to the fact that we were not meant to succeed in this fight.
Today is the master of magnetism.
So let's just throw this fight so we can get through the remainder of it. Why are you attacking into characters that have already been downed? There we go. And then we'll just sit here as he hammers into the remainder of our team. And then we will rinse and repeat that same thing after this next cutscene.
Your insignificant planet shall follow.
No. Save that moment of glory for our master.
My beloved.
Nice little moment there for Mystique.
Let me have mine instead. You dare harm a member of the Black Order. Perhaps we have not been clear enough about the gravity of your situation. Allow me to remedy that now.
Okay. Let's get into this portion of the fight and basically rinse the same thing. Now, the only reason we get healed up here is because we ended up going down. There we go. That's one. Switch over to Wolverine. That's two. Come over here to Deadpool. And if we played our cards right, which we didn't because we got knocked out of it. Ooh, that was a brutal one to attack from those two. But that's all that we had to it. So let's go ahead and switch over to Nightcrawler so we can make our way away from these two. Come on, get away from there. Bar that's obstructing the path there.
Run all you wish. There is nowhere on this planet that is safe. The thrill is in the hunt, my love.
There we go. Now we've got one, I guess two final cutscenes here, and I did not skip that. There wasn't an availability for me to do so, but it did go through the remainder of Juggernaut's line, which is kind of weird. We've got, okay, Wolverine, Scarlet Witch, Psylocke, and Nightcrawler, Deadpool. That might be our core 5 that we have to switch into, but I don't recall if the introductory cutscene once we get to the Dark Dimension is the same group. I would imagine that it probably is.
Something has been weakening the barriers between dimensions. If I can just break through.
Alright.
There. But I must warn you, chaos magic is unpredictable. I do not know where this will
And of
lead
course,
us.
Deadpool is the first one to run through.
Anywhere is better than here.
Closest of shaves there. And then we pop out of the rift on the other side, which, as I expected, was going to be the same team as before. But we will address that when we come back. Actually, Deadpool, I didn't see him in this half of the cutscene. So we are going to have to start next week with Wolverine, Psylocke, Scarlet Witch, and Nightcrawler, and then keep an eye on how well that goes. But that's going to be everything for today. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure that you leave a like. Don't forget to subscribe for the daily variety content, and we will be back in a week's time to continue this excursion. Have a great day, everyone.